Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 12th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to ya. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. Unless that's what you're into, then by all means, have at it. As for mine, it was some forward motion. It was good. It was a solid day. We got up pretty well rested. Got myself together, went to work, and coming in very uncertain, not knowing what we were going to be getting into. Was I going to be working all day upstairs again? Was the crusher going to be, up and ready to go? I came in and I saw that, crusher is still detached, still off the rails, so we're still fucked. Okay, that's a bummer. No good. But, we had, put some of the cardboard in the other cardboard crusher. They made some executive decisions last night, and it wasn't quite filled up. So we had a little bit more room for a little bit of trash for the day. And that was about all I was really trying to put into it, unless someone directed me to do so, right? So I did that. I go upstairs maybe for about 30 minutes to an hour. I get walkied, I get hit up on my walkie-talkie. They go, "Hey, they just put in the crusher. You're good to go." And I'm like, well, hell yeah, let's get cracking. Let's get crushing. So I come downstairs and I see that the cardboard compactor is put back together. Dumpster is attached. And someone from maintenance comes over and explains to me what happened, because I'm thinking that fix should have taken I think a good amount of time to fix. And not to mention, it's raining. It's a steady rain. It's raining all day. I think it's raining all week. Yuck. But I'm like, I wonder what they did. And it seems, and I was told, they just pushed it in. They were actually able to do that. You just literally just kind of guide it in, no railing, and you're good to go. But granted, that's a temporary fix. I imagine they're going to come back and eventually put the rails back on, and then we'll be officially good to go. But hey, we were up and running. I was happy about it because we had a lot of work to do. From there on out, I spent the rest of the day at the crusher. I had assistants throughout the entire day, so they gave me, someone else to work with. Overall, that was solid. That was good. I will say, though, my counterpart has this aversion to the rain, which, look, I get it. I completely understand. They've launched the the complaint, the official work complaint, that it's like, hey, it's not safe to work down here when it rains like that. You're slipping and you're sliding, everything's wet. It's da da da. And I'm like, I hear you, bud. I definitely do. But I've been doing this shit for 7+ years, slipping, sliding, whether it's hot, cold, wet, dry, whatever. That's just kind of the gig. I don't know what to tell you. Sure, maybe it's a violation or some shit, but you don't see them fucking plugging up the holes. Okay, that's just, it is what it is. You're gonna get dripped on down here. But I will give my coworker, some slack. One, I think real shit. I think they work harder than I do. And two, they weren't feeling too great. They just came off of being sick. Yada yada yada. I completely understand. And also, they're correct. We shouldn't have to tolerate and put up with this shit. But I also know how our company works. I know we're not in a fucking union, so I know not a damn thing is really gonna get done. Period. I've chronicled some of my problems with the whole leaky dumpster situation. You just come up with good funny bits. Okay, that's what you do. Anyway, work went good. I will say also, on top of just getting through all the work, granted, we still have a little bit to go. Actually, there's still a lot of work to do, but getting back on track, pun intended. We had a snack, a free treat from work, which I appreciate. Today was a banger. They were passing out essentially sundaes. So you go up in the break room. Someone was handling all the ice cream. You had 4 flavors, I think. There was vanilla, chocolate swirl, chocolate chip. And I got a, what was it? Fudge swirl one, the chocolate swirl one. And then I just got a bevy of toppings. They had some coconut. They had some almonds. They had They had Skittles. I skipped the Skittles. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. Not for my Sunday. Um, they had some syrups, like chocolate and caramel syrup. So yeah, overall it was good. It was yummy. It came together. And then also I had some peanuts that I had. Because I bought, this is a tangent and I'm sorry, but I need to explain myself. So I've got into the habit, y'all know, I have peanut butter, I have popcorn, like smart food popcorn. That's my usual default snack. When I went to the grocery previously, I picked up the wrong peanut butter this time. It wasn't a factory error or anything like the time I've described before when I bought my crunchy peanut butter, expecting it to be crunchy, and there was no nuts in the motherfucker. This time I just fucked up. I looked at it and I literally sighed for like a minute because I was like, I can't believe I bought fucking creamy peanut butter. What the fuck is wrong with me? I was really upset. But I now have a solution to this. I essentially go and I get peanuts and I just eat the peanuts with the creamy peanut butter so that I can achieve the desired texture that I am looking for. That's how bad I want it. Okay, that's how bad I want the nut. And I classed it up. I got the flamin' hot peanuts and I got an extra side of peanuts for when I run out of those. Anyway, back to the Sunday. I had these peanuts, right? And I didn't want to put the flamin' hot ones. I could have, but I'm not feeling adventurous today. So I put a couple extra peanuts on there. It really set it off. So yeah, that was a snack. It was yummy. Like I mentioned, it's been raining all day, but not like severe storm warning, get to the shelter weather. So overall we were able to make it through. We get out of work. I wind up at the gym. I will say I was tired as fuck. I was so tired. I wanted to go home and nap, but I was like, no, we got to push through. And I just felt like the biggest chud at Planet Fitness. I had all the means and ability to get the workout I wanted done, and I feel like I half-assed it, if I'm being honest. I will say, though, I had a moment that, like, I was trying to, like, one of the leg presses, mind you, I told y'all, we did a whole renovation here in this Planet Fitness. All the equipment's supposed to be fucking brand spanking new. Both leg presses are fucking broken right now, to my knowledge. One was broken on arrival. Then I tried to move the seat on one, and it just wouldn't move. It was just stuck. And I'm like, okay, fuck me, huh? All right, I'll just go upstairs and do squats. Whatever, fine. So yeah, the vibes were just kind of, but the workout got done. It was solid. We got out of the gym from there. I had to make a stop at the grocery store, get that done for the week. Grocery store was fine, pretty in and out, no problems, no muss, no fuss. Get myself back home. I guess I'm just off stretches. I don't know. I need to get back on it. I know I need to get back into the rhythm, but whatever. I'm not a bendy straw. We'll live. I did have a snack. Snack was good. We got some research together. We got our news up and we are ready to yap. Yes, we are. Yes, indeed. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Yeah. First, a hydration break. Oh man, I'm sure the ASMR me doing this fucking water bottle is always great. All right, my macaroons. Let's get into it. From The Guardian, U.S. Army helicopter crashes in Texas, killing 2 people and sparking wildfire. An Army Apache helicopter crashed in a central Texas field on Wednesday, killing both people on board and sparking a wildfire that forced several homes to be evacuated, a sheriff's official said. Officials from nearby Fort Hood announced that an AH-64 Apache helicopter had crashed. Cliff Coleman, spokesman for the Bell County Sheriff's Office, confirmed that both occupants had died. A military official told the Associated Press that the crashed Apache had been out on a routine training flight when it went down. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a developing situation. I feel like a lot of times when we were talking about military helicopter exercises, it usually is training when something fucking goes down. And I don't even want to count this to like, oh, Ricky move, Ricky error or whatever. I'm sure there's so fucking much that goes into operating not just any kind of plane, but a helicopter specifically. It's got a lot of maneuverability and stuff like that you got to worry about and be thinking about at all times. One wrong move, I'm sure shit could just go fucking foobar. And not to mention, you have the standard, anything could just go wrong. It is a piece of equipment. It can fail just like any fucking thing else, only, miles high in the fucking sky. No cause was immediately announced. Fort Hood's Criminal Investigation Division was leading the crash investigation, Coleman said. Then they have some more details about Fort Hood and whatnot. But yeah, obviously condolences to everyone involved. I know I say that shit a fucking lot, but these things are heavy. Then there's not much I can say or really do. And half the time I'm trying to add levity, so you at least try to stop and say, hey, that shit's fucked, and you hope that the people, the families, everyone involved can just pick up, and keep it moving. Anyway. Let's move on. We gotta talk politics. We got some primary shit to I guess digest, you could say. From NBC News, 3 takeaways from David Crowley's comeback from the politics desk. Mr. Crowley. Sorry, I don't know why I had to get at least one in. A few weeks ago, Milwaukee County's executive, David Crowley, dropped out of the Wisconsin governor's race, saying, "It has become clear that I will not become the Democratic nominee." Today, that's exactly what he is. Crowley's primary victory is one of the more astonishing political comebacks in recent memory. He relaunched his campaign 10 days after he ended it, as establishment Democrats embarked on a last-minute mission to stop the rise of State Representative Francesca Hong, a Democratic socialist. Okay. So I do think media is gonna really like glaze this guy, like he what a comeback kid, da da da, and like in some facets, in some ways, it's like okay, wish this guy the best. Obviously, he's going to be going up against Republican candidate, and I would like to see the Democratic candidate win. Y'all know me, I'm voting blue no matter what. Ooh. That being said, I didn't like seeing this candidate win. You know what I mean? I was rooting for Francesca Hong. She did get the numbers. I think that's always good to see. We've been seeing not just a blue kind of wave, but like a actual like, hey, these are people talking about the issues, not trying to spoon feed you some bullshit. Like this is hopefully some stuff that you can believe in, and that you're gonna hopefully see these people apply when they get into power. So, you're hoping, I guess you could say, what the Madani effect, whatever, was going to spread to Wisconsin. That would be fucking sick. But it didn't really pop off. She had the numbers for a second. Guys like Crowley were dropping out, saying they were done. But then, more motherfuckers were falling out. And it seemed like, wait, maybe Hong isn't the one. Maybe she's not, quote unquote, electable. Yada, yada, yada. And we're going to get into a quick little bit here while they go through the little bullet points. But this guy came through, like a dark horse. No Katy Perry. And he won. So that's kind of the long short about it, but we'll talk a little bit more. They're saying this was a volatile race. There were several twists and turns that shook up the final stretch of the primary. In addition to Crowley's reemergence, 2 other prominent contenders, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez and former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Burns, also abruptly dropped out last month. I think one of them, I might be getting it wrong on who it is. Actually, I don't even want to say a name because I don't want to be wrong. But one of them had some kind of scandal that popped off and wrecked the campaign for them. They just immediately pulled out. And that was a person that, I think Crowley had endorsed. And he's like, fuck, well, damn, maybe I shouldn't fucking leave this to chance. And I really do think that in general, there is this sentiment, this thought that, if we just give it up to this socialist, this radical leftist, then this is bad. This is bad for the brand. So we have to fight. We have to show up. We have to beat them. It's the only way we beat Trump in the end. We're more middle of the road. We're more electable than them. We don't want to flop. So I think this fear, and hey, maybe just Crowley's own personal ambitions, it's not like I really know or rock with this guy, spurred him to come back. Say, hey, I'm going to take the L off my fucking forehead and then run again, reheat the fucking campaign. And he won. saying it out loud, you could say, oh man, it's impressive. Like, and once again, kind of going back to the me of like 5, 10 years ago, it's like, hey, he's a liberal black man, it's giving Wisconsin Obama. Let's fucking go. We can take that. That's a win. That's a dub. We're moving the chains. But once again, it just feels like, oh, you're going to get a person here who's not really going to enact any of the things that they're really saying. It's a lot of window dressing. It's a lot of fucking bullshit service. And then next thing you know, they're going to go right back to saying, hey, well, the populist, whatever the fuck, the other guy, the Republican, the conservative, is saying that good shit. I believe him. Maybe I want to be racist again. And then they fucking vote for that guy. They vote for the next guy or gal. Because you didn't deliver on anything that you were selling. So, that's my fear with Mr. Crowley. But let's see. Left with two leading candidates in Hong and Crowley, neither of whom had ever run statewide. A large chunk of the electorate didn't decide who they were backing until late. A Marquette University Law School poll conducted July 22nd to the 27th showed that a third of the primary voters were undecided and 16% backed Barnes, who would end his campaign days later. The survey showed Hong at 38%, close to her final vote share, as Bridget Bauman points down, and Crowley at 7%. Sorry. That suggests undecided voters who weren't previously tuned in to the midsummer contest swung sharply to Crowley in the closing days. Another important development that happened after the well-regarded Marquette poll was in the field. Hong underwent more intense scrutiny. During a series of national interviews, Hong was pressed on and walked back some of her past controversial positions, fueling concerns she was too far outside the mainstream to win a general election in the swing state. Now, I only caught a couple of these hot takes of hers from her Twitter when she was young. I also want to add the note that this is a very common thing that happens. Like, one, you're a fucking young person with the fucking internet, and you pop off, you say a lot of shit. And not to mention, some of that's just fucking wrong. I think like the main thing was defunding the police. That is a common one you've seen. And once again, I've seen Democratic Socialists tank that. Maybe in New York it's easier, but I have seen it happen. I think the zany one, and I'm calling it zany, but I want to say that I get where this person's coming from. I get where Hong was at in this headspace. But essentially, she was talking about like, and I'm wildly paraphrasing it, but like kind of ending Thanksgiving. I know you're not ending it, but like not making it a mainstay holiday, not making it a focus or whatever. And like, I think when you hear it and you hear her try to like back out of it and say like, that's not really what I meant. I actually meant this was more about like diversity and inclusion or whatever. And then when she realized that take didn't work, she like came back out and said, I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite. It's just, dude, you just look really lame. It just looks really deflated. And like, once again, people don't fuck with that kind of change. That's too much too soon and not going to put fucking money in their wallet. It's not any kind of change they can work with or believe in, right? It might feel good or sound good, but once again, this is something that Hong said when she was, I think, in her, early 20s? I don't know Hong's age off the top of my head right now. I know I probably said it, whatever. This is something she said on fucking twitter.com or some fuck shit, man. And you're going to hold her to, on a cross for that? It just seems weird and unnecessary and like not good to be like, well, I mean, she did say back then that she would defund the police. Motherfucker, no one is going to do that shit. It didn't happen. The cops are still killing at will. You know that. So it's like, it's crazy to keep bringing that up, especially when you have seen each and every one of these candidates, like even like with Abdul Sayed that we've talked about before, like essentially say, yeah, that is something I said. I've changed my position. Okay. It's like, what more do you want? It's frustrating to be like, hey man, this guy, I really like what he's saying. He really seems like he wants to do some shit that's going to help me. But man, he said that police are bad. And I think I'm back in the blue. What should I do? And then they want to vote for a guy who has nothing, like none of their interests at heart. I always think that's like, okay, man, whatever, fine, okie dokie. Let's see. Is there a third thing that we really need to run through? No. Well, they talk about the importance of ads. I don't really care about that. It kind of just seemed like the other two things were the bigger factor here. Though I do think Crowley's campaign did edge out ahead with that, and I do firmly believe, I guess I'm kind of talking myself in a circle here, that like people who have no interest in politics, who like are very like you could say middle of the road voters, whatever, they just kind of sit on like a bump on a log until they're on their television and they see a fucking ad for this guy or that person or whoever. And if they see more of those people or like their ad looks better, that is sometimes the biggest deciding factor for them. They might not know shit all dick fuck about the motherfucker, but they go, well, I mean, I like the cut of his jib and he seemed like he was doing some cool shit with the dog and the music was playing and like, I think he's for me, you know? And they said the other motherfucker's a terrorist. Like, so these ads do matter. They do. Like, I do think there's a lot of times where, you know, essentially it is going to be what it is no matter how much you spend. I mean, we've seen that on both sides of the aisle, but it's not a zero thing. It's not a 0% thing. It definitely matters. So yeah, there you go. Talk myself out of that. Anyway, let's move on to not necessarily the next story. There's more primary stuff. I just want to quickly breeze through if I could. Minnesota Senate. Progressive Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan defeated moderate Representative Angie Craig in the Democratic primary. She will face former NFL sideline reporter Michelle Tafoya in November. Minnesota Governor. State House Speaker Leslie DeMuth won the Republican nomination, defeating Mike Lindell. Fucking Mike Lindell, the pillow guy? The cocaine pillow guy? Wow. I mean, hey, slay, Lisa. And setting up a general election matchup against Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar. Let's see here. Connecticut's first district, Representative John Larson became the 10th House incumbent to lose a primary this year, falling to former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin, who had called for generational change. Let's see here. This is Wisconsin 3rd District. Rebecca Cook won the Democratic nomination, setting up a rematch against GOP Representative Derek Van Orden this fall. And then last but not least, South Carolina Senate, Senator Darlene Graham and Representative Ralph Norman advanced to a runoff in the special Republican primary. Man, who you got there? Anyway. You know, let's keep it in the political sphere, but we got to talk Trump admin. We have a happy trails to you until we meet again. Clap, clap. All right, bye, Caroline. Which I'm pleased. I'm a bit pleased about this one. I cannot lie. From the Associated Press, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is leaving the Trump administration. The White House Press Secretary, Caroline Leavitt or leave it, dude. The youngest person to hold the role will leave the Trump administration at the end of the month to spend more time with her young family. Leavitt, 28 years old, called it a bittersweet decision in a social media post Wednesday, shortly after President Donald Trump announced she would be stepping down. She recently returned to the White House podium after the birth of her second child, a daughter named Viviana, in May. She also has a 2-year-old son. The truth is, since returning to the White House after the birth of my daughter, I have felt in my heart that I cannot be the best mom my 2 young children deserve while devoting the constant time, energy, and attention required of the White House press secretary. And that is why I ultimately made the bittersweet decision to depart the White House and embark on a new chapter in my life. Dude, fucking good riddance. In terms of who's going to be her fucking replacement, I don't fucking know. We don't know yet. I imagine they're going to be barking and raving and pushing the same fucking bullshit agenda that this administration's been fucking pushing, you know, the same kind of way. I don't think there's going to be like that much of a difference, whether it be male, you know, female, whatever. You know, that being said, via con Dios, and hey, good run. Like, I think it is better to go out on your own terms and say, hey, I'm doing this so that I can be the best mother I can be, you know, and of course Trump's like, hey, she'll be in the orbit, you know, she's like, you know, an out of administration advisor or whatever the fuck, you know, and essentially she's going to be living in MAGA world, right? You know, she's got her, you know, wealthy, rich husband, she's got her 2 beautiful children. Look, whatever. Just get out of this shit, man. I just don't want to see this motherfucker. I don't want to see any of these motherfuckers. You know, once you get them and you hear all their bullshit, their stick, and it's like whatever their kind of brand they're trying to generate within this MAGA sphere. No matter what, no matter who, it's always stinky. Right. So I just want these motherfuckers to move on, whether it's in a hostile way or like, once again, they just kind of fade into nothing, or they fade into their talking head role on Fox News or whatever, or they write their fucking lame ass book. I don't give a damn. Fuck them. Tomato Town. See ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Whatever. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to really add there. Hop to. Our last story is going to be about space. Well, it's about space. It's about sun. It's about moons. It's about Europe. We have one more story that I wanted to cover. It's nice. It's light. And we're going to take our last break. We're going to have a little lift off. And we'll go ahead and close it out. All right. From Al Jazeera. Solar eclipse plunges parts of Europe into darkness. Millions of people across Europe have experienced their first total eclipse in 27 years. Starting at 1534 GMT, the brightness of the daylight hours was gradually interrupted as the moon began to block the sun, eventually turning day into sudden night for about 2 minutes along the path of totality. The path, where the moon orbits in front of the sun and blocks its entire surface facing Earth, crossed northern Russia, Greenland, and Iceland before sweeping across Spain and a small part of Portugal, bringing almost total darkness to about 15 million people. A partial eclipse was visible across much of Western Europe, parts of Northwest Africa, most of Canada, and part of the northern United States. And then they have some pictures. It's pretty fucking cool. This takes me back to 2 years ago. When I got to see, a total eclipse or whatever. And I just remember like everyone was pretty excited. At work, they passed out the glasses that you get to use. And I remember going out on like my last break, and like it just felt weird. It felt like it was nighttime, but we were in the middle of the day. And seeing the crescent little moon things on the ground with the shadows and shit, it was surreal. It was like I was in a Twilight Zone moment. Very cool. It's very neat that, this kind of just happens. Like, I remember hearing about that and then knowing that this was going to happen in 2026 and being like, hosh posh, it's mostly going to be in Europe. I don't care. Whatever. It's our time. Now that our time in the sun, or lack thereof, has come and gone. So it is actually cool to kind of like, say, yeah, cool. You guys got to have your eclipse moment. And, it'll come back around again, too, for everybody. That's just how it works. I mean, granted, I guess I'll be, what was it, 2024? I can't. No, I guess, who knows? Anyway, I don't like thinking that far in the future. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have. That's the episode. Yeah. A total eclipse of the heart. I don't know. I wanted to sing that too. Anyway, let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. All the stars are appreciated on the Spotify, on the Apple Podcast. Any nice, kind review is always useful. I like to see it. It makes my heart smile, if you will. That's nice. Do that. Or don't. It's okay. If you don't do any of that, and you're just a silent listener, a lurker, if you will, I love you. You're great. I think it's awesome to know that, like, the number isn't 0 when I look at the count. Hey, I might not be very big. I'm very small potatoes. I'm small fry. But best believe. I'm your home fries, motherfucker. So hell yeah, let's fucking go, okay? All right? So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.